It's those long afternoons in the summer. I'm lying here day to day. If I bake away.
This block is from the end of a hand-hewn white oak beam that came out of my grandparents' home. The home was raised and we salvaged the beam. We used it in a remodel job and we needed to trim it. This is the end of it that we trimmed off, and I saved it to use for this project.
That blade, you stuck it in, took off with my only friends, and left me all alone and dying. It's those long afternoons in the summer. I'm lying here day to day. If I bake away summer, I might just melt away. There was a tragic scene, you know just what I mean. The way we fell apart. You should have pulled the plug, but that would have been selfish love. Just head you up and walk away. It's those long afternoons in the summer. I'm lying here day.
It takes a lot of work cleaning these old pieces up so you can get to where you can pick out the best detail. If you notice, I have wrote on here, house was built in 1858. We counted the rings on this block. There's 83. If you take them from 1858, that puts you back to 1775. So this piece of wood, the tree actually started to grow sometime before 1775. So that's pretty amazing. Okay, deciding where most character was on this block that I have left, and I'm going to run it through the joiner, clean up the bottom, and then decide where I want to cut the end so that I'm not getting rid of any character that, you know, is really nice. You can see here that the bugs had ate on it a little bit. It's just all personal preference, and I want to leave as much character as I possibly can, so this is where I'm going to trim it up.
Drink some coffee, see the new day brings. I jump into my car and I'm late for work. The boss.
You'll notice me pointing here to a nail in the piece. I think that's really cool. I want to leave it, and you'll notice the sparks flying here. I just trimmed it just enough so that you could just see the shiny edge of that nail. That is a cut nail. That would have been a handmade cut nail when the house was put together in 1858. I wanted to leave that in for character.
I go across town to get a bite to eat. The place is so crowded I can't find a seat. It makes me wanna cry. Floating on a cloud, eating a Krispy Kreme.
I just take all my pieces and decide where all the character is, and this is just a little bit more of the cleanup, sand and smooth. And on these old pieces with all that dirt, grime, patina, whatever you want to call it, on these pieces I just really watch so that I keep all that nice grain and that color. Here's where we're going to put our brand on. I want to thank Gearhart Industries. They are a remarkable company. They do a really good job. They made our brand, and I'm really happy with it. And this is where we're going to put our brand on the piece.
I'm not really one to complain, but all these mundane things.
I'm getting ready to decide where my inkwell is going to go on the block. I found these really nice inkwells. They're reproductions, but I found them online. and you can go online and type in inkwell and you'll find lots of them, but I like these. Also, I'll put this down and mark where I want the inkwell to rest, because you'll see later on that I then carve that out by hand so the inkwell sets in and don't slide off of the block. Here I'm going to start putting my pen rest together. My pen rest is made out of the contact bolts and the terminals from a Model T. Now you can find these parts if you go to Snyder's Antique Auto Parts, type that in, and they reproduce Model T, Model A stuff. And I'm using these to tie in the pen from our first video, was made from the wood from Model T Ford. So I wanted to tie them together. Here we're drilling to get ready to put the terminal bolt through. We had to drill it, and then we also had to use a Forstner bit to countersink so that we could get the nut on the bottom. There's the terminal bolt, and you can see it's a machine head. And then when I show you the terminal, you'll see that the terminals, they have actually a round hole in them because they're for on the spark plug. And this is where I'm going to show you that I need to file. I get a little small file, and I need to file that hole square so the coil box terminal bolt, the machine head, will fit into it. So I take the time and do that so it fits right.
Looking for a slice of paradise. Little slice of paradise. Just a slice of paradise. We're looking for paradise.
This is where I had marked out earlier with the inkwell, and I'm just carving it out. I use my chisels and hand carve a little place for it to rest in the block. I get it carved down and I keep fitting the inkwell in. I just want it so that the inkwell sets in here and can't just slide off the block. And I want to do it by hand. Really, when you look at this, where you can see the marks from the foot ads, and this beam was all hand hewn, I could have routed this, but I think that would have been cheating. I wanted to stay true to the character of the piece and carve it out by hand.
Days and brighter days are lying dead ahead. I'll take a ride.
I have my block chiseled out, it's sanded, ready for finish. The finish I use is Minwax polyacrylic, and it's in satin. I put 4 coats on, and between each coat I use steel wool, sand it smooth, clean it back up, and then give it another coat. Makes a really nice smooth finish, and also it's really nice. It brings out the character of the wood. The satin lets you see the grain and the character of the wood really well. Now I'm getting ready to put the block together using my contact bolts for the coil box of a Model T and the terminals for the spark plug wires in a Model T. And I just put that together, put it through the hole I drilled. Then once I get it on here, it takes a little adjusting on the brass to make the pen set where you want it to set. But you do that and get it to set how you want it to set, and basically the project's done.
I'm walking down the city street.
This pen and ink set project and videos are dedicated to the memory of my grandparents, Russell and Rhoda Keller.
Never knew what love was till you came along and I wrote this song out of the blue. It was easy to do for you. Life I couldn't see didn't mean a thing to me, then into view a reason to be. for you. I'm floating downstream on a paper raft. Do believe I'm about to collapse.